What is happening, people? Welcome back to 8 Count. Today's just going to be a short video of me giving you my thoughts on last weekend's boxing action. Going to be covering 3 fights: the Ryan Garcia fight, Sebastian Fundora versus Luben, and Triple G versus Morata. Before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming content surrounding the world of combat sports, all things MMA and boxing. And let's just get straight into it. This was the last fight I watched on the weekend, which was Ryan Garcia versus Tego. In terms of a fight, it wasn't the greatest spectacle, I guess you could say. I thought that Ryan Garcia, coming into the fight, you thought that we was going to see a lot of different things as he's changed coach from Eddie Reynoso to Joe Goosens. I thought that we did see a different sort of Ryan Garcia, but obviously it's going to take time with a new coach, and we didn't see the full new Ryan Garcia, let's say. The fight was very boring though. Tego, his opponent, extremely inactive, never really looked to trade with Ryan, and at certain points ran the whole time, I guess you could say. Looked to avoid the fight at all costs, just looked to last all 12 rounds. He put his hands up at the end. I was kind of like, it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. Very disappointing on his end. And on Ryan Garcia's end, I guess you could say, needs work. I think it would have been a different fight if we saw him in there with an opponent who actually thought that they could, do something against him and he could go and fight Ryan Garcia. I felt like we did see certain implementations from his new coach. Obviously, the constant pressure, stalking Tego. But yeah, I thought there were certain mistakes that he made. I mean, defensively vulnerable, I think people were saying a lot. I think it's going to be hard to know if that's true until we see him against someone who's of a higher echelon, someone who's going to go in there and look to fight Ryan Garcia. But the main sort of takeaway I got from this fight was sometimes I felt like Ryan Garcia was really smothering his work. Going into the fight, I predicted Ryan Garcia by 5th round TKO. Obviously, this fight went to a decision, and I felt that he definitely could have got Tego out of there if he had just maybe stayed at range a little bit more. A lot of the times when he was throwing combinations with Tego up against the ropes, he was kind of falling into Tego, giving him the ability to clinch up with Ryan Garcia and kind of nullify the attacks. Yeah, I'm going to just leave this fight pretty quick just because there wasn't too much to go on from. And we're going to move straight into the Sebastian Fundora fight. This was the fight I was most hyped for this weekend. I couldn't find it on any of the UK channels, so I had to find a way around it. But we managed it. And I mean, what a fight this was, as long as it lasted. Obviously, Fundora getting the knockdown in round 2, and then we had it looked like a bit of a comeback from Luben when he got knocked down in round 7. And it's a brilliant fight as long as it lasted. Going into the fight, I was really surprised. A lot of people picking Luben. I'm not as well knowledged, I guess, on Luben. I haven't seen as much of his work as I have Fundora. Fundora going into the fight, I thought was going to win. I predicted a 9th round TKO. I just felt that going into the fight that he'd be able to get Luben on the inside, and obviously he did that. But I thought the volume of strikes and the pace he would put on Luben, making Luben constantly work, was going to be a big factor in him maybe getting that TKO towards the end, just because of the fatigue of Luben. I think in the fight we definitely saw that. I felt the first round was definitely Luben's round. Just felt like he had the cleaner work of the two. And I was probably going to give Luben the second round as well, but Fundora obviously getting the knockdown late was a big factor. And after that, I felt that Luben didn't really show us too much. I felt like Fundora was constantly pushing the pace and, bringing the fight to Luben on the inside, and he was kind of smothering him with a lot of volume. Obviously, he was, I think they said death by 1,000 uppercuts on the commentary, and he was landing uppercuts at will. Like I said, in this fight, it was more of a fact that it was the accumulation of blows rather than that one knockout punch for Fundora. I'd love to see the strikes landed. it must have been insanely high, because Fundora's output was huge, and it was going to take a good fighter to keep up with his pace, and Luben couldn't do that at the end of the day. And man, the beating that Luben took, he looked like the Elephant Man after the fight. Obviously, going into the fight, I had watched a few fights of Luben's, and obviously he's got good power, and that right hook was always dangerous in the fight, but he couldn't really have all that much effect on Fundora until the knockdown in round 7. And but before that, Fundora's chin, oh my days, this guy's got a chin. Man, he took some massive punches from Luben, and he didn't even look phased. But yeah, I going into the I scored it all 9 rounds just before the coaches threw in the towel, and I had it, by the end of it, I had it 86-83 for Fundora. I just felt like he was smothering Luben, and I think Luben will be disappointed looking back on the tape. Obviously, his coach gave him some great advice in the corner, but he's too willing to just stand on the inside with Fundora. And, he wasn't doing his work then getting out. He was doing his work then staying in the pocket with Fundora, and that's just what Fundora is going to thrive on. But it was a great fight as long as it lasted. I really enjoyed this one. The next fight, and the last fight in the video I'm going to talk about, is this man, Triple G, back at it against Morata. I think this event was happening in Japan. It was early morning for me. Well, I think it was just gone midday that the fight happened. Going into the fight, I think I had it... Wait there, let me see. Yeah, I had Triple G by 7th round TKO. My scoring of the fight up until the end, I had it 78-74 to Triple G. But I don't think that really tells the story of the fight. I think early on, you saw Morata with a lot of pressure on Triple G, did a great job of nullifying a lot of Triple G's offense by sticking Triple G on the back foot. He was, his jab was good early on, I thought, Morata, and then his body work was really good as well. You can see the body work from Morata was certainly having an effect on Triple G. And I felt like, it was really nervy. I think, to be fair, I am a pretty big Triple G fan. I really enjoy his work, and I was rooting for him, I guess I could say. So maybe my judging's a bit biased, but... going into that, the 4th round, I thought, this is a bit dicey, because Triple G was looking like a shell of his former self, I guess you could say. And I'm sure Golovkin fans were, feeling it a bit, now at 40 years old, I kind of like in his previous performance as well, he was looking like a shell of himself and not like the Terminator of old. I felt like the fight did change in round 4. I thought you saw that Golovkin started to get his timing down a little bit more. Maybe that wasn't, an aspect of the fight that Golovkin had been away for quite some time, and this was a comeback fight, and it took him a while to get his timing down. But in round 4, you could see that, he was starting to land his jab, started to back up Morata, which is what Golovkin wanted to do. I felt, as the fight went on, Golovkin started to look the fresher of the two, and I think that the early onslaught that Morata kind of put on Triple G definitely had an effect on his stamina levels going down the stretch, and I felt that Golovkin was able to start getting his body work going as well, which was really good. You saw a lot of lead hand stuff from Golovkin, especially the uppercut and hook, really good again. I mean, these are just staples of Golovkin's game by now. So experienced, and he's got such a back catalogue, which is so enjoyable to watch because of the fights he has been in. And yeah, by round 5, 6, I think that Golovkin's work was by far, in a way, the most effective of the two and the most eye-catching, I guess you could say. Morata did have certain bursts here and there, but it wasn't nothing. It wasn't anything to really shout about. I felt that, by the end of round 6, it was looking like the end for Morata. Obviously, round 6 started. Morata's mouthpiece went flying with that right hook from Golovkin early in round 6, and I think that was a sign of fatigue as well on Morata's part, and it really became a matter of how long could Morata last rather than can Morata win this fight. So And it turned out that it wasn't long at all. You know, in round 7 and 8, you saw Golovkin really starting to put the pressure on Morata. And in round 9, it was all over. You know, Golovkin, with the opening blow of round 9, was really hurt Morata. And Morata was backpedaling, but Triple G did a great job of not smothering his work. Like in the Ryan Garcia fight, I thought he smothered his work quite a bit, but Triple G just showing that experience that he has. He was able to pick the shots he wanted. It looked like Morata recovered a bit, but then it wasn't long before Golovkin was able to land that massive right hook, which sent Morata spinning to the canvas and really left his corner with no choice but to throw the towel in to save him from himself at the end of the day. Now, this is massive because it sets up this trilogy with Canelo. If Canelo can get through Bivol, which I probably think he will do. I'm not about it. I like the fight for Triple G for financial reasons. But in terms of a fight which I think he can be competitive in with Canelo, I think that's a couple years past its sell-by date now. I think that, you know, the first fight, Triple G was robbed so bad, and the second fight was close, but I could see you giving it to Canelo. Canelo's waited him out now. I think Golovkin's past his sell-by date at that very top elite level. I still think he can be in good fights and stuff, but I don't think he's got what it takes to really challenge Canelo. I think if Canelo was watching this fight, he would have been licking his lips just at the fact that Morata was able to have so much success with the bodywork early, and it was having visible effects on Triple G. You could see in his face that he wasn't liking it, and I think Canelo will be licking his lips with that. I think Canelo's just aged him out. You know, I think if this fight would have happened straight after the second fight, I probably would have predicted Triple G to win, unless the judges were, corrupt as it is in boxing. But it is what it is, man. He's waited him out. I think Canelo has improved so much since the second fight, and I think Golovkin has slowly been on a bit of a decline. And that's how it goes, I'm afraid. I mean, if the trilogy happens, obviously I'm going to watch it, and I'm sure it would be a good fight as long as it lasts, but I just don't see how Triple G at this moment in time can really stand the onslaught of someone like Canelo. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Let me know down in the comments down below. Oh shit, I clicked the wrong one. There we go. Let me know in the comments down below how you how you would see a Triple G versus Canelo trilogy going down. And and give me your thoughts on the weekend's boxing which just happened. I'm going to have videos coming out this week still. I'm going to be covering the Bellator main event between Nemkov and Corey Anderson. I'm going to be talking about the UFC's upcoming card, and I'm going to be talking Errol Spence against Ugas. So yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of that content coming up. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed, and be sure to drop me a comment just giving me your thoughts and reactions and stuff, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.